All right, in the Zero Prep channel, there's a link to the agenda, but who cares? It's not really anything. Uh, uh,
Excuse me while I try not to laugh.
right, right.
Um,
Okay, are we live? I'm looking here.
I see. Yeah, I see us coming up on Twitch now.
Beautiful.
Let me
Let's check sound levels and get this
let
shit
me go
sorted.
and just break Colin slightly.
Wow, wow, dude.
Um, well, maybe not. Should be okay. Let's just go and go. No, Twitch, not Twitter. I'm just making sure that BSL is on the auto host.
Nice. Let me check to see if we got this going. That's a good thing about starting a brand new thing. Like, well, there's nobody. There's no.
Yeah,
It's all real fucking low key. We're relaxed. Hey, we're live. All right. We're actually,
we
yeah,
appear
we're
to be. Yep,
broadcasting. Cool. I'm hearing it. Uh,
sweet.
Let me check this. This. Mute. All right. So, Winter Mute. Hello, all. Misfit. Hey, hey. Wait, why am I hearing? What am I hearing myself? Oh, mute that. Okay. Yes, you're live. Oh seven guys. Michael, live say, Callan Beam. All right, so let's start right off the bat. This is a brand new project. It's a whole new weird thing. It could go off the rails. It could be awesome. Who knows? We'll see.
We have rails.
Yeah, we have rails. I am your host, Kai Zen. You can hear my voice. I hope the levels are good. Please tell me if they sound good. With me is my co-host, Ben Moss-WOODWARD of LAVE Radio.
What up? No, that's what Sue says.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I have my rum and I have my coffee. What more do I need?
yeah. Talk a little bit more so people can hear your levels.
Okay. Mary, quite contrary. No, what was it? Mary has a little lamb. Her fleece is white as snow.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nah. We good?
All right.
We're getting up.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
It seems like our sound levels are more or less okay. We only have a few people watching because
Yeah.
there is
Are we vaguely balanced?
Where is my promised hot Latina? Wow, if you find one, you send her my way. Let's see. Ben is low-ish. Let me adjust
I
Ben
could give
up.
you a hot chocolate if you want, or if you want, Dunkel, I've got some hot coffee here.
All right, let me check.
Yeah.
Ben, talk.
Apparently the screen's black.
Yeah, yeah. The screen is black. Hold on, let me fix that. There you go. It's no longer going to be black. It's going to take a second, but with the delay, but it'll pop back up. Ben, talk a little more. I'm watching your levels now on the.
Am I talking a little more? Am I?
Holy
Okay.
shit, that's loud.
Holy shit! What am I doing? Am I? Oh, I'm talking loud now. Am I? I think it probably depends whether I'm talking actually into my microphone or if I'm talking into my maybe affects things.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe who knows? We don't. Do we know?
Why don't we pretend that we know what we're doing and talk directly and clearly into the mic so I can establish a level?
Would you like me to eat my microphone?
Ben, come on.
I've got. Do I actually have to start behaving myself? Fuck's
Yes.
sake.
Yes.
Oh, are we PG-13 or are we? I just fucking swear.
Nah, say whatever the fuck you want. I don't give a shit.
Oh, that's good then.
All right. All right.
I do want to do a slash raid on Black Sky Legion though, because that's what I'm trying to remember to do.
Beautiful. All right.
No, not slash raid. I want to slash host. That's it, you know.
I think the levels are about good. It's hard to tell because Ben's all over the place. He talks quiet and then he talks loud, but we'll go with it. And if you can't hear him, that's his fucking problem.
Exactly. I've got nothing worth saying anyway. It's not worth it.
Beautiful. So our show is going to be the three main hosts are myself, Ben, and Suverine from Sagittarius Eye magazine. Suv is on a trip right now. He won't be getting home for a couple hours. And if anyone has ever tried to schedule, well, this is a thing that basically only Colin, Phoenix to Fire, and Shan will really understand it. And I doubt Shan pays any attention at all. But I get Colin's pain now. If anyone has ever tried to like schedule anything with both Ben and Suv, I swear to Christ, they're like fucking Superman and Clark Kent. Like the two of them can never be available. It's like the second Ben is available, Suv is not, and vice versa. So whatever, we're just gonna roll with it. I said we're gonna do the show Sunday at 3 p.m. We changed the time like 3 times to accommodate people, and then it was just like, well, we're gonna change it again. No, it's gonna be Sunday at 3 p.m. and the people that make it, and the people that don't, and it's all good.
And that's going to be every Sunday, isn't it, in theory?
Yeah. So hopefully Sue will be with us next week. We're also going to have some guests on eventually, but I wanted for the first episode or two for us to be very sort of just the core crew and sort of establish our flavor and what we're doing and whatnot. So
we know my flavor, it's salty.
There you go. All right. So starting right off the bat, let's go with the fact that this is a sort of extemporaneous show. We're going to talk about whatever any given week. The show is listed as Black Sky Legion New World Nerding Out the Pilot. It's going to be a certain portion of...
Aren't we Zero Prep? Isn't that the show name?
You don't really read the channel.
Have we changed the show name again?
You don't read the channel that we have created for the show.
I've been away being a father for the past week.
So, here's what we got. How about we actually just sort of let me get through this bit so that we can start the show for realsies, and then we can have all that wonderful stuff.
Oh, have you not started for real, for fuck's sake?
No, this is sound checks and where we read stuff out. So, on YouTube, we've got hello to Dunkel Aura, Michael Livesay, Stash FPV, Callan BM, Winter Mute, and Misfit. I want to say a quick hello to you guys. Thank you for coming to this very first pre-whatever thing. And Ben, shout out the people in the Twitch chat, please.
If I knew how to actually look at all the people in Twitch, I probably would. This is where you want someone like Psycho to actually knows what she's doing with Twitch.
No, I'm good.
Oh, users in chat. Here we go. Right, we've got Dunkel. We've got Restream. We've got Commander P. Frost. Me, Quebec. Hosso312. Original Gamers Online. Awesome W. And whoever.
Yay. All right.
So, yeah, we got those guys. And I'm still trying to figure out how the hell I go and auto-host a channel in Twitch. I don't do these things. It's just like, it runs itself and I don't worry about it.
Beautiful. All right, so we're going to go ahead and hello. We're going to go ahead and get things started now with the intro song. We're going to have an intro song. We're going to have an outro song. We're going to have some talking in the middle bits, and we're going to edit it so that that's what shows up for the podcast version. I hope you guys enjoy this. This intro song is Stormzy, and it was specifically because I've had people message me saying, "Oh, what are you doing if you're talking about Elite and now you're doing other games and how dare you and this, that, and the other, and like I don't have a right to an opinion about whatever the hell." So, yeah, this is a personal message to everybody that wants to give me their opinion with regard to the content that I should be creating. Please to enjoy. All right. Starting it off with a little bit of Stormzy. And I told Ben right before the show, I was like, yo, actually, I'm going to make you feel at home. I'll play some Stormzy for you. And he's like, oh, we don't really have storms that much right here. And I was like, okay. So, Ben, that's Stormzy. What do you think, brother?
I would love to tell you what I could think, but I couldn't actually hear it. See, if you're wanting to make me feel at home, get me some Royal Blood on or something like that.
Okay, fair. We'll get right on that.
I'm actually just trying to get some pants on.
Okay, fair.
In the American sense of the word.
Okay. I mean, or the British sense. I'm not judging. You do you, bro.
Well, my curtains are open, so, gotta be careful.
Yo, I ran out, what day was it? I ran out in my boxer briefs and put the recycling on the corner, and not on the corner, on the curb, but it's only like 5 feet from my front door. But I did get a whistle from the neighbor lady, so I was like, wow, all right.
Yeah, but you're probably boning her on the side anyway.
Hey, no, that is not, nope, that's not,
she's a good girl, is she? You're a good boy.
No, we don't, nope. All right, so I am enjoying, Jesus, Ben, right off the bat, I am enjoying some Dragon's Milk. I hope you guys are having fun and have yourself a little drink or a little something set aside. Ben, what are you drinking right now?
I've got some Kraken rum, some coffee, and I've got a Toblerone ice cream en route, which is actually the real reason why I thought I'd put some trousers on.
Nice,
You know,
fair.
I didn't want to answer the door
Well,
without them.
I also have a little 6 and 25 grain bourbon whiskey. So yeah, that's some good stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna get into it. Right off the bat, let's just explain what this show is about. The point of this show is to talk about anything freely. I had talked to Ben and Suv both, and both of them had said, I would love to join you regularly on Black Sky Legion, just be part of the crew, but there's no way we can do it because the hours, it's like we need you to move it several hours earlier. And
Yeah.
unfortunately,
On a regular basis, starting at midnight and finishing somewhere after 3 a.m. on a regular basis for people with, people who've got to be up at 8 o'clock the next morning is not practical.
Yep, 100%. So,
And I mean, I don't know about you, Kai, but certainly on Lave Radio, and I think you're on BSL as well. You go off and you talk about Elite, and that's fine. Or you talk about Star Citizen or No Man's Sky, and that's fine. But you start verging into other directions, even other sci-fi directions, and people start getting a face on with you.
yep.
And I mean, I know both we've all got a platform to be heard on, but piss on it, I want more of a platform because I've got more opinions.
Well, on top of
I
that,
don't just do Elite.
I catch hell just from branching out from Elite into Star Citizen and No Man's Sky. So, God forbid, I start talking about fantasy MMOs or a cool movie or a book that I like, and people lose their motherfucking minds. So, we're yeah. So, like I said, we're gonna
all
go
the
into
shit that we enjoy that isn't main content or whatever. Yeah.
yeah. Although I think honestly, the more and more I get into it, and I'm gonna sell you on it. Spoiler alert! I'm gonna sell you on it here coming up. I think New World is gonna become main content pretty damn quick, pretty damn hard. Not to say I won't still be enjoying Star Citizen, No Man's Sky, and Elite, but like New World is definitely gonna get into the rotation, and I'm gonna get it into the rotation with you. I know already Suv is down. Suv is 100% in. I'm gonna sell you on it. Spoiler alert, that's coming up. So this is gonna be a show that covers, like I said, New World, the MMO, as well as all things gaming, nerd, space, books, TVs, movies, shows, like all of the stuff. So if we get to a situation where it's like, hey, there's a huge thing that happens with SpaceX, we'll talk about it. Or, oh my God, this Marvel thing, we'll talk about it. Or, oh, the Dune or Foundation series. Or, holy shit, this amazing thing happened in Elite. It could happen. Or, like, oh, Xenothreat, let's go, boys! Like, all of the stuffs, we're just gonna be free to do whatever the fuck we want.
We're going to be all over the Expanse when that kicks off again.
I'm calling it right now is December.
We've got the book coming. Oh,
I'm calling it around December 15th. We'll see.
sounds about right. So if it's going to be that, I'll probably have to basically hold fire until January sometime.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, just because Christmas and being a father and things.
Hey, these things happen. Your pullout game is weak. It is what it is. Okay, Dunkalora, I have not yet sold on New World. Just wait, brother. I'm gonna sell you. So let's get to the meat of the show. We'll start off with Ben. So each person sort of brings their agenda to the show where it's like, I want to talk about this thing or that thing. Let's start with Ben first. And after we run through our agenda of our things, because I have a very meaty, thing with regard to New World.
Got a meaty thing.
But I want to start with Ben first. I want to give him the opportunity to bring his first thing that he wants to talk about, and let's just free flow with this shit. Go for it, Ben.
Oh, I mean, so I've been watching Shang-Chi and the most recent Marvel film, but I probably don't want to bring any spoilers because that only came out on Friday.
Oh yeah, no spoilers. No spoilers, but just general feelings and thoughts.
If you enjoy feelings and thoughts, loved it. Some awesome choreography. Marvel bringing their A game. Really enjoyed it. Some nice Nice little cameos, nice little side bits.
Now, Shang-Chi was that slightly chubby monk guy from Doctor Strange, right? I
No,
love that
that's
guy.
Wong. That's
Oh, I
Wong.
like that
Wong
guy.
is in it though.
Mm.
Wong is in it, and he gets to do some kick-ass magic and kick-ass fighting.
Okay.
It's good. It's good.
I'm a big fan of Wong.
I know you've not watched a lot of the more recent Marvel things, but did you watch? I think it was Iron Man 2, which had
Iron Man 2 was the one where he...
that was the Extremis and the Ten Rings and things like that.
Iron Man 2 was the one where he went through the whole... There was like an alcoholic subplot, and there was the fucking dude, there was like, I want my beard.
Okay, maybe this was Iron Man 3 then.
Okay.
Whichever Iron Man it is, where they're basically going on about the Ten Rings, and basically one of Iron Man's other sort of corporates, oligarchs, is basically blaming the Ten Rings for a bunch of scientific explosions that they're doing.
Yeah, that's
and
3.
That's 3, is it?
Yeah.
And they're using Trevor Slattery as a patsy, basically pretending to be the Mandarin.
Yeah. I remember
Trevor's,
that was Ben Kingsley, and he was so
Exactly.
good. Yeah. That was great.
He's back in Shang-Chi.
Oh, it's
as
great. I
the
love
same
him.
person, and he is on form. Like, one of his first lines was, "Oh, thank God, you can see it too. I thought I was hallucinating."
Yo, I could see Ben
It's
Kingsley
so
just
good.
tripping on acid. Yeah, that's great.
Oh man, absolutely awesome. So yeah, I've been digging on that. I won't go into any more spoilers on that.
Okay.
If you like it, go see it. You know, you're not going to miss anything.
I'll
been
put
loving
it on the list.
Yeah, I've been loving the Marvel What If stuff as well. And my God, the most recent What If got dark.
We're talking about the what's his name, Loki shit?
So the What If stuff is a series of cartoons
Oh.
where still voiced by most of the OG cast.
Okay.
And it basically it goes off and just changes one little thing about one of the movies and then rolls forward from there. So, like in the first one, what would have happened if Peggy Carter stayed on the ground floor of the place when Steve got zapped into Captain America, and going on from there.
I love Peggy Carter.
And and it's all the voice actors.
What's her name? Haley Atwell, Haley Carswell, Haley.
I'm shit with all that kind of stuff, but yeah.
Oh, I
think
love
the actress who plays Peggy Carter is awesome.
I love her.
So and she basically turns into Captain Britain.
Nice.
So we have a super-powered Peggy Carter.
I dig
and
it.
It's freaking amazing.
Well, I mean, even non-superpowered, just Peggy Carter, like, I mean, she was boom, but like her brain was equally awesome.
Ripped.
She rocked, like, Peggy Carter, they only did like one season of that, right? That Peggy Carter show. It was Haley Atwell.
Seasons, yeah.
It was so good. Like you were rooting for her the whole time. She had no special powers. She was just competent as fuck at everything she did, and you were like, "You go, girl!" Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's why Black Widow was always, or Clint were always sort of my favorite Avengers because they're just very skilled individuals. You know, as Clint was saying in one of the I'm running around here with a bow and arrow.
Yeah.
We're fighting robots. What the hell is going on?
Yeah. Good stuff. All right.
And that's it. So basically it takes an idea, spins it on its head, and roll forward from there. Well worth a watch. They're only 20 minutes, half an hour long, on Disney Plus. But today's one just got so dark, and not today, last Wednesday's one now, I suppose. And it's all about Doctor Strange and what would have happened if certain things happened.
Okay.
And he still goes off and does most of the stuff in the Doctor Strange film. But then shit gets real and dark. He's sucking souls from people left, right, and center. just gets not evil, but
I think the
dark.
proper term is if you are vicious but not evil, that's brutal.
Yeah, it's definitely brutal, and the Watcher is equally brutal.
Mm.
There's a scene where he's like he's pleading with the Watcher to fix it, and the Watcher just nopes him out.
Mm.
And it's just not gonna happen, boy.
That's legit.
So yeah, I'm loving all that shit that's going off. It's great.
Nice.
I think, well, this shit am I enjoying at the moment? So yeah, I'm still just going through the same as I've been going through with playing some Star Citizen,
Mm.
enjoying the Xenothreat stuff.
Oh, Zero
I
Threat's been so
watch
great. I wanna call
um
out real quick. I wanna call out last night. I did a bunch of Xenothreat stuff with the Soul Citizen gang. Shout out to Griff, RPG Gaming, Fast Cart, FC, Fist to Face, Pops in Space, Jade Star Watcher, uh, uh, Dark Knight. I'm trying, like the whole crew, even Dig That popped in at one point and was like, "Yo, what's up, peoples?" And we had a nice little whatever. Hilariously, I reloaded, jumped into the game because they were like, "Hey, let's meet up at like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, whatever." And I was like, "Cool." I was editing right up to the last minute, jumped in, and then found out that all of my bindings got deleted because I switched over to the Couch Citizen. Shout out to Jules, the Couch Citizen Xbox Elite controller setup for FPS gameplay, and that seemed to have deleted all of my shit. Yo, Griff Gaming in the chat. What up, brother?
Hey, Griff.
Griff, always, as I said, much love and respect to you. Always, you can jump in at any point. If you want to hop into the Black Sky Legion regular Discord in any of the channels, just ping me and say, "Yo, man, bring me down. We'll drop you down. You can come join us. You are 100% on the fucking guest list. You are welcome always." But yeah, had fun with those guys last night doing Xenothreat stuff, and it was a good time. Even though I had to I was like, oh shit, I can access my what is it, the tractor beam gun on the multi-tool attachment, but it doesn't see, I can't figure out how to make it push pull. I can just pick something up and then move it like 2 feet away from me. No, I tried that. It was because it's a different setup under the Couch Citizen. It's all set up on the Xbox Elite controller, so it didn't quite go.
But the Couch Citizen basically just some alternative key bindings for using on your gamepad.
Yes, exactly. And I don't. It's like I didn't have it all figured out, so I was like,
That's the worst when you change bindings, though, isn't it?
You know what? It is what it is. I'll get it sorted. But I had a great time with the Soul Citizens. And if you're listening live, pull up, just look up twitch.tv/Soul Citizens. They are the best group of people you ever wanted to hang out with live in Star Citizen. They're good people. So
good people.
Yeah, 100%.
I was doing the same idea, but with Speedweed and
in the Black Sky Legion Discord earlier. It was right up till when we started the show. You were like, I'm about to land in Mikhail 1. And I was like, bro, we're trying to get ready. Let's go.
We're doing a show here. Why are you doing this?
But
it's fun. That's why.
Dude, I get it.
But I want to love Star Citizen so hard.
It's so great.
And yet,
okay.
But
say,
I'm getting I'm showing up at the Xenothreat, and my frames drop down to 2 frames a second. I'm trying to use my gravity gun thing for moving the crates around, and it's selected and enabled in my holster. And it says it's there, yet I go to the gun and it's like, hey, I'm going to be a welding tool. And I don't want you as a welding tool, I want you to lift things. And I'm trying to quantum travel quickly somewhere because it's going to explode in the back of my ship if I don't get there in time.
Oh,
And it's like, what?
you were traveling with some green boxes, weren't you, bro?
Oh, I was I was doing all the traveling. I
So,
jumped to my Cuddy Red.
let me explain to
We
you the
all
trick.
bound to my place.
Let me explain to you the trick.
There are several tricks, but which one's this one?
Take a hammerhead. And this comes courtesy of the Soul Citizens. Take a hammerhead.
For the record, to get a hammerhead, I need an extra 10 million, but that's another story.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. You can earn 10 million in 11 hours of play, bro. But anyways, you take a hammerhead, you throw inside of it an Argo cargo, and that is the hack.
Yeah,
because
this is something we were talking about
you throw
earlier.
You throw the green boxes in the Argo cargo, you throw the yellow and the blue in the hammerhead, and you get it done because the Argo cargo inside of the hammerhead doesn't register the quantum jump.
Yup. Yeah, it's a sneaky thing.
Yo.
But yeah, I was just having. You know how Star Citizen's quantum drive is always a bit flaky. And I was like, look at the place, quantum jump. And it was just, no, you're not going to do it. And I'm like, come on, just jump for God's sake. I'm seeing it. You're spooled up. Jump.
All right.
And I was just like, Yeah, and I think it's all these little issues you get when you want to do something crazy like play with your friends and you're playing on an active server and everybody's there and everything, the whole instancing stuff just goes to hell. But these are the things that do my head in. It's such a great multiplayer game and it's got so many awesome experiences and it's got so much potential. And then it just goes off and says, I'm going to piss all over your parade.
I mean, that's the point. You click on it saying, hey, I acknowledge this as an alpha.
You click on it and say, I'm an alpha. I know.
It is what it is. All right, let me jump to my point real quick here.
Yeah.
Because, not real quick, it's going to be a half an hour.
Is this your point or is this your New World thing?
This is New World because here's the deal. I've just I poured it in a glass that was a rookie mistake. I had like 6 shots of 6 and 25 grain bourbon whiskey straight. So it's getting the screen is getting a little blurry where I made notes I want to get to my thing and then we can turn it over to your thing and I can relax and just it doesn't matter if I can't see straight because we're just gonna chill. So right now, I'm gonna sell you, Ben, and you, listening audience at home, on New World as an idea. Are you ready?
Punch it.
All right, here we go. I want to preface this by saying, listen in because I'm going to tell you how you can play this game completely for free in just a few days with zero risk and decide if it's right for you. If it's not, try it for like 3-4 days straight. If it's not right for you, skip it. But I think it will be. All right, here we go. Ben,
I'm going to deliberately mute my microphone so I don't interrupt you.
No, hop in. I want you to ask questions as it goes. Ben, let me ask you, what do you know about New World?
Nearly nothing.
Okay.
I know it's by Amazon. I know it's a new MMO. I know it's fantasy.
All right. Real quick.
That's about it.
Real quick, I'm going to hop back to Star Citizen to just tell you, Griff wants you to know, Ben, Soul Citizens, they are the Lucky Charms. Come hang out with them on Friday night. You will have success. I did 2 full rounds of Xenothreat with them last night. I can tell you for sure that is legit the truth. And it's not luck. Griff is a liar. It has nothing to do with luck. They are prepared. They are organized. They are highly competent at what they do. They are fucking skilled. That ain't luck. Luck, I guess, goes in with it, but these guys know what
You've got luck on the server, don't you?
All right. So, New World. Let's hit it hard. Here's why you should try New World. Number one, it's been 7 years since the last AAA fantasy MMO, which was Black Desert Online, was released in December of 2014. It's been 7 fucking years. Okay? There is a built-up thirst for this content if it's done right. Let me explain to you why it is. The AAA fantasy MMO consists of, like landscape rather, consists of World of Warcraft, which is currently imploding. I called it a long time ago. People were saying, what's going to be the WoW killer? And I said, dude, there is no WoW killer except for Blizzard. The only way at this point, WoW is so big, the only way to kill it is for Blizzard to fuck up on their own. And I'm not going to get into details, but I will say that with regard to one, content, as far as just looking at what they've created lately and the way that their release cycle and how they've been putting stuff out, it has been massively underwhelming for quite some time. And two, without getting into details, they have had a whole other backlash with regard to some internal stuff that has been very upsetting. Let's just call it that and move on. Okay? What else is in the landscape? Well, you got Black Desert Online, which is a ghost town, Korean hardcore Asian grind fest, and oof, it's very, very beautiful, but oof, it's made of oof. You've got Elder Scrolls Online, which is a fantastic game that unfortunately had an abysmal launch that caused many people to say, I am not going to go back and look at that. You've got Final Fantasy XIV. The undisputed king right now, and a phenomenal game, but it's on very old legs. That game dropped in September 2010. Yoshi P's, the genius game director, has already stated that he wants to get his own Final Fantasy game. They brought him in to fix the shit show that was Final Fantasy XIV 1.0 launch. And it was so bad, they took the game down for a year and relaunched it. And when they did, Yoshi P is a gaming development god, and he made a fantastic game, but that was 9 years ago. And Yoshi has already stated that if he had his druthers, he wouldn't have Final Fantasy XIV. He wants a new game where there is zero tech in the world, and it's an old school Final Fantasy game. It is, chocobos and wizards and sailing ships and even magical flying sailing ships, but not, Final Fantasy XIV has the car from Final Fantasy 15 where it's like, whatever. It has robot tech. It has all kinds of technology. And Yoshi has said, I want to do my own flavor of game that has none of that. And then somebody in the chat is saying Lotro. Oof.
I played a little bit of Lotro, but I guess at some point we'll come into the MMOs what I've done.
Okay.
So we'll come into that in a bit.
But so basically the landscape right now for AAA fantasy MMOs is, other than Final Fantasy XIV, it's a bit oof, and Final Fantasy XIV is fantastic, but it's on old legs, and the genius game director he's already looking for the next thing, and as he deserves it, rightfully so. He should have the next thing. So New World is launching now in the perfectly timed window to catch two waves. Number one, it's launching at the end of this month, and it's going to catch a big wave one of WoW refugees, as well as a second wave of Final Fantasy players, just as it's hitting the 2 to 3 year mark and is sort of well established with several updates and expansions on its content, 2 to 3 years from now. And I think that is going to serve it very, very well. Point number two, it is already the second most wishlisted game on Steam. That's big. That should not be overlooked. Next point. It is the first major release from Amazon Game Studio, and they have already demonstrated and stated openly their commitment to see it through. They are also using it as a sales device for Lumberyard. They're using this to showcase what they can do. Next up, Amazon Game Studio has direct access to Amazon web servers, Amazon marketing through Prime Video, and Twitch tie-in as Amazon owns Twitch. To that last point, you can set your in-game icon to show that you are streaming. So if you're streaming and you have your account tied to it, it'll put a little Twitch icon above your thing so people can see like, oh, you're streaming. That, I get it. That can be good. That can be bad. But you have the option. You set it how you like it.
I mean, you're just making me think. Have you seen some? You must have seen Viva La Dirt League, yeah.
Oh, all kinds of stuff between that.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of like the flip flop videos and things like that from Viva La Dirt League with the whole, watching everybody Twitch streaming.
Yep. All right. Next point. This game it has an amazing level of polish and a fantastic framework to launch from, but with any MMO, the big question is always, where is it going? Amazon has not given too much detail, but have given hints that they have a very aggressive release strategy for this game. The lead developer stated in the Gamescom interview that even though the game is being released on end of September, September 28th to be exact, they already have, quote, holiday plans for content, partly because of the nature of the game itself, and we'll get into it in a minute, and partly due to some other hints. Some people are expecting that this is not just Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's content, but also Halloween stuff. In addition to this, Amazon has already let out hints of multiple new weapons and game features, as well as data miners have pulled, and you can find 100 different videos online of this. They've uncovered half a dozen extra post-launch dungeons, as well as at least one new zone called the Burning Sands, which is an Egyptian-themed area with pyramids and Sphinx-style stuff. It is legit. I'm seeing in chat, no audio or just me. Everybody else is saying... Okay, yeah, no, we have audio. It's just Dunkelor is having an issue. All right. Now that we've set the stage with the background, landscape, and corporate shit, let's get into the actual game itself. They're bringing back so many of the old school classic MMO vibes from EverQuest, Ultima Online, and Vanilla WoW that people loved, but that developers ditched in their never-ending quest to cater to casuals and nerf the world.
Are we talking 40 or 100 player raids here?
Just wait. I'm going to explain that. But
okay.
that part's coming. So, like I said, they're bringing back the classic MMO game stuff while like ignoring the stuff where they're sort of nerfing the world and all of the bullshit that comes with it. So no tab targeting, you aim at your shot or swing or you miss, and you dodge attacks or you suffer. It's a classless system. Your character levels up off of a total world XP system, and your weapons level separately. You have no set class, and you can place your attribute points however you see fit. In addition, your weapons XP is tracked separately, and leveling a weapon is as simple as using it. As you level weapons, you unlock points to spend on weapon trees. Each weapon has 2 trees that you can pull from, and you can unlock passive traits as well as active abilities. You can equip...
Question while you're talking there about leveling weapons. Is this going to be I think it was EverQuest, where you would get people just, standing for hours, jumping up and down, or swinging their sword or whatever to level up?
No.
Or are they doing this in a more intelligent way?
They're doing this in a more intelligent way. The way that you gain XP is not to shoot your bow over and over and over, because for 2 reasons. Number 1, you have limited ammo that's kept track of, so you can't do that. And number 2, you don't get XP for shooting your bow. You get XP for killing stuff while shooting your bow. So if you just stand there and jump, you gain nothing. All right, so you can equip 2 weapons at a time, and you can swap seamlessly between them. Later, you unlock a 3rd weapon usage but that's as you level up. So you can tailor your character into a nearly limitless list of options between your
What about
characters.
dual wielding?
That's coming. You can tailor your character into a nearly limitless list of options between your character stats, so strength, dex, com, int,
All the usual
etc.,
stuff.
as well as splitting your points into 2 trees for 2 weapons. So, for example, you can choose hatchet and great axe, or spear and musket, or rapier and bow. And for each of these, depending on the weapon skill allocation and your base character stats and your armor choices, you don't get locked into like any specific meta build. The beta play has already shown that it's really well balanced, and thus far there aren't like you can really do. There's not one meta. You can pick dozens of different sort of. Oh, I'm gonna go this with this, that with that, and you can do a lot. Hold on one second. Let me just test. I want people to tell me, are you hearing things okay? Because now Dunkalora is saying no, he's getting silence, and somebody else seems to be agreeing. Can you guys hear us? Can you hear us on the show, Ben, when you pull us up on
So,
Twitch or
if
YouTube?
I go and put you up on Twitch, I'm hearing you fine on Twitch.
Yeah, I just unmuted and I hear it just fine. That's just a you problem, Dunkel. I don't know what's going on. Everybody else is saying it's good. All right. So getting back to the stuff. All right. So you're not locked into a specific beta. It's not like, oh, well, all hunters have to be this, all warriors have to be that, all X has to be, paladins or this. No, you can mix and match however you want. And it's...
Do you know if they allow you to respec if you
do. Yes.
lively cock up? Damn.
Yes. You can
Damn! That annoys me.
You can respec for free. Let me...
Okay, justify it. I'm cringing, but justify.
Let me explain. You can respec for free up to level 20, after which point you can respec at any time for a small amount of gold. It increases each time you respec. I think it resets on the server tick or whatever. But yes, you can respec. All right. So
the reason why it makes me cringe is I've played too many games where it's like, this is the flavor of the week, and then they go and tweak something, and now all of a sudden everybody's respec this way, and then they go and change the flavor, and it's all respec that way, and it's like, oh, for God's sake, guys, this is your class.
No.
You don't all of a sudden, change from throwing lightning bolts and things like that to suddenly firing a little bit of rain. You're throwing lightning bolts, man.
So you weren't listening to me when I said that this is a classless system. You swap your weapons on the fly. You can go to town and change your weapons.
No, I heard all that stuff, but I'm more thinking about in WoW, for example, you did all that via changing your talent points.
This has nothing to do with the shit show that is WoW. This is a whole different thing. So, in addition to that, your movement style, your dodging and whatnot, is determined by your gear weight. So players, other than tanks, will be mixing and matching heavier pieces for the stats with 1 or 2 of the lighter pieces in an attempt to mostly have one weight class of gear, like your stats, while getting just under the cap so that you're classified as 1 level lighter for increased mobility. In addition to this, you have an overall inventory carry capacity that ties into your encumbrance level, making it preferable to have what you need, just what you need, and not much more, and encourages you to make use of storage containers that are in the settlements. The storage is not a magical teleporting box that goes from settlement to settlement. This storage is localized to one location and gives you a real reason to sort of strategize what location you're going to use. So you could say, oh, I'm going to have one location for my gear and one location for my crafting mats. And, oh, we want to try to be incentivized to take over this town so that we can, get access to whatever. The gathering and crafting system in this game is as deep as any MMO that has been made in the last decade. You have no limits. You can choose to develop any and all of your gathering, refining, and crafting skills. You can check New World YouTube creators already and see that this system is already at launch deeper than most of the MMOs you've seen in the last decade. The entire economy is player created. You can buy some faction gear and farm some rare drops from dungeons, but the vast majority of items, including many if not most of the best gear for any slot, be it weapon or armor, are actually player made by crafters using mats that they gathered or bought from other gatherers, players. And as a sort of WoW Final Fantasy 11 player, a Final Fantasy 14 player who I had in Final Fantasy 11 Liu Shang's fishing rod. I had in Final Fantasy 14 the master fishing with the crystal rod. I can tell you, search YouTube and look at just Google in YouTube or search term whatever New World fishing tutorials or New World fishing play. You will see that the fishing game in this system is at launch already top notch. It is a level above all the rest. This game has PvE dungeons and open world elite zones and world events catering to PvE players who can choose to play the entire time in that mode and enjoy all the game has to offer. You are never forced to PvP ever unless you choose to. But for the old school players, New World offers a very rich and dedicated PvP system, unlike most games of the last 2 decades, who tack it on as a shitty afterthought. The original base game is built around PvP, so the mechanisms for PvP are simple. You can only flag or unflag for PvP in a town. You can only engage in PvP if both players are flagged. There are tons of missions on the mission board that you can only do if you are flagged for PvP. And all flagged PvP players gain a additional 5% bonus to all XP for actions taken while flagged. This is designed to encourage players to game flagged at all times, adding spice to an even mundane action like PvE grinding or gathering. Also, there is a level sync mechanism that allows for a fair fight should you be out leveling, even if someone 3 times your level attacks you. But it does increase the danger in the world, so when you see a posse coming at you, you better get to running. Should you be killed in PvP, you lose some durability, and the player who killed you gains XP and some loot and money, but this is created from the game, not taken from your inventory. There's a whole series of factors that go into settlements, which are the name that they call their cities, and fort ownership that are controlled mostly by PvP players. So unlike Elite, where you can solo steamroll BGS in New World, the vast majority of the BGS factors are determined by PvP players. Those factors include development of your settlement and fortifications, so you can level up your town and add to the better facilities, etc. In addition to this, settlements are originally purchased in the game, but after launch and when all the settlements are purchased, another guild can take the city from you in a war. The way this works is that you build your influence and undermine the owner's influence in a settlement to the point where it triggers a war. That will be scheduled at some time later to allow both sides to prepare. And then there's a 50v50 PvP battle in which, it's actually a PvX battle, in which the attackers attempt to take the location from the defenders, who will have the home field advantage. And it is a massive, massive PvX battle. When I say PvX, what do I mean by that? I mean, you go to fight each other back and forth. That's PvP. You can build up your defenses in your settlement or build up like siege weapons to attack the settlement through PvE gathering and crafting. in a mini loop where you're like, okay, you need to go get X amount of Y thing to make a cannon or to make a cauldron that pours down hot oil on the attackers or whatever on both sides. In addition to that, there are certain places where you can go to fight a portal thing, or there's this one chick, I forget her name, she pops up where you can, if you fight her and defeat her, it gives your side a buff and it freezes the XP, like the point gain for a limited amount of time from the enemy team to allow you to sort of come back from behind. There are all sorts of things where you can get this elemental bear to fight on your side. You can do all kinds of stuff that is PvE based within the PvP war system. Whew, I gotta take a breath. All right. So you can choose to engage as a PvE player and do the systems that you're interested in. So as a PvP player, you get into who owns control of the systems and whatnot. As a PvE player, you can choose to support a town and work on their sort of, what do you call it? Like gathering their, what do you call it? Their like increasing their gathering stations and crafting stations.
Well, if they need resources, you can go and sort of collect more wood or something.
And contribute that to upgrading their systems because that's what you use as a crafter or gatherer. So
I mean, if let's say, for sake of argument, BSL took over a town, and I wasn't in BSL, but I haven't got anything. I'm just a random person walking around. Could I come in and use the facilities at your town?
you absolutely could. And so in this way that I'm talking about, the PvE players get to get themselves involved in the systems that they care about, and the PvP players likewise. In addition to this, for PvE players who say, well, that sucks, I don't want a PvP, but they spent a ton of time and money into developing this whole war mechanism, and I'm sort of out of that loop because I don't choose to play that way. Well, I've got good news for you. You can. They have developed a second PvE mode to these wars that are called invasions, in which players team up in a PvE only mode to defend against PvE zombie hordes that interact and invade in a similar way to the PvP battles. And you defend forts in that way, which gives them access, PvE players, to a tailored PvE game loop. This game does not have looking for group or looking for raid. You form parties naturally, and there's no dungeon spamming either, as entering a dungeon requires a key, and those have to be earned as a quest reward, rarely, or much more likely as part of a quest line or crafted almost always. So some of these have a craft cooldown that say, like, as a gem cutter, you can only craft a key to this particular dungeon like once a day. So as a result, it makes those dungeons, A, it makes the crafters valued, and B, the game doesn't have, people that are trash running dungeons where it's like they start in and they're like, oh, I'm going to AFK for 20 minutes, and they disrespect your time, or just, oh, come in, or like toxic people who are just being absolute dicks and refuse to sort of do.
So does everybody need that key, or is it only the party leader?
One person needs to have the key. Any one person has the key.
Yeah. So you could still accidentally group up with some douche who says, "Oh, I'm going to bugger off for 20 minutes."
But in which case, you blacklist them, and guess what? They don't get invites to dungeons anymore, because it's not like World of Warcraft or Final Fantasy where, it's no big deal.
You go into LFG, and it's so
none of that.
It's ridiculous.
None of that. It is you earn your rep, and the sort of, the community is important. You build up associates and friends that you run with because you trust them. The world is massive.
So can I do some initial questions?
Go for it.
Right. Is there a monthly sub? I see it's 35 quid on Steam.
It is not.
Already.
There is no monthly sub. Next question.
Okay, so it's buy once, play.
Buy to play.
Okay, so how does Amazon make their recurring server costs then? I'm assuming it's not. I'm assuming microtransactions of some sort. I'm hoping not pay to win. Like go off and buy the Uber Sword of Uberness, yours for only $100.99.
Okay. So to answer your questions, number one, the Amazon web servers are owned by Amazon. They don't have to
They still have to
necessarily.
pay for them.
Okay. No, they exist. They're there already. But to answer your question more specifically, and I'm going to get into this
Yeah.
shortly, but number one, they have already outlaid an aggressive release policy for schedule that
Well,
they're going
DLC
to
content or something.
add updates and yeah, DLC. Number two, they will have a store, uh, online store that sells cosmetic items and sells housing stuff. We're going to get into the whole housing system here in a minute. There are tons of cosmetics that they can sell that will bring in the revenue. Next question.
Right. So my experiences with MMOs was basically playing WoW from the European alpha all the way through vanilla, into all the way through vanilla, right through to basically Cataclysm. At which point I was like, okay, this is just a treadmill, and every year or two, they go off and do another expansion, and you're back on the leveling treadmill, and then you're back on the gearing up treadmill, and then you're back on the grinding out or the dungeons treadmill, and this is just getting boring. Which and after there, I basically then started playing Star Wars KOTOR.
So where's the question?
Um, so I'm just explaining my background here.
Okay.
KOTOR, I loved. I loved the storylines. I loved all the individual storylines. I got into the raiding. That was great fun. Enjoyed all that stuff. KOTOR essentially played, though, like WoW in space. Or WoW in Star Wars. I also played a bit of Lord of the Rings Online. Again, that played very much like World of Warcraft in Middle-earth. I've played some Star Wars Online. Not quite so much WoW in Star Wars, but still, you've got your ability, and it's like you've got your rotation, and it's like shoot phaser, activate shields, and then so on. Um, it sounds like this is more like the Skyrim model of attacking people, in that you're needing to target people, and less on the targeting somebody and then you're basically rolling a dice to see whether or not you hit.
Not even remotely like that. It is, in fact, 100% aim at your target and dodge attacks. There is no tab targeting in this game. In addition to
so
that,
it's more
this
like
is,
shooting people in Doom or something.
In addition to that, this is nothing like WoW or all of those games that you just mentioned, because, like all of those games that you mentioned, those are a theme park game that has no sandbox element whatsoever. You can't attack and take over Orgrimmar. You can't take over Ironforge. You can go, I've done it. You can go and kill everybody in Ironforge and dance around for about 20 minutes, and then they respawn and you're out. You have no way to dynamically affect the world. This game is specifically set up to do that.
I mean, it's sounding a bit more like Star Wars Galaxies. It sounds like you could basically become a crafter in the game. It sounds like
you absolutely can.
And that was one of the things that people hailed about Star Wars Galaxies. Is like, at least the original versions of it, you weren't some galactic superhero doing all this sort of Jedi Knight shit and so on. You were, you were just a normal person in Star Wars. And you were drinking your blue milk, and then building a village, a community, and that was one of the things that people loved about Star Wars Galaxies.
Absolutely.
I couldn't get into Star Wars Galaxies because at the time it was PC only, and I didn't have a PC, so I couldn't play that. And I know there is still a lot of love for Star Wars Galaxies, but I tried playing it a couple of years ago now. And it has aged. It really has aged. But if this is bringing back some of that
It is.
vibe,
It is very
then that's a
much.
good thing.
It is very much like EverQuest 1, Star Wars Galaxy, and Skyrim if you just merge the aspects of the three of them
Yeah,
together.
over on YouTube, Commander Bishop's saying it's like Star Wars Galaxy and Skyrim had a baby.
A good amount, but include a lot of, you need to include a really healthy chunk of EQ1 into that. Yeah.
Mm.
All right.
So, I mean, what kind of lore is it bringing in then? Because I'm guessing it's their own universe.
Here's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to get back to my list of points because lore is on that list. I want to get through them.
Okay.
And then we'll have an open, just general discussion.
Okie dokie.
So between now and this point, if you have a specific question on one of the things that I listed, then we'll hit it, and then I'll get to the stuff that hasn't been mentioned yet. Trust that it will get mentioned, and if it doesn't, at the end we'll get to all of it.
I mean, I'm looking at the videos and it's looking pretty damn pretty.
It is very, very pretty. All right, so New World is the first next gen. Oh, sorry, I skipped ahead because okay. New World is the massive detailed with various zones comprising specific biomes and themes, and traveling that world is a real experience. There's no bullshit mini-map while running around. You have a compass that you unlock skills on to track things, and you can open up your map and look around. But it's not just constantly there in front of you with a little mini-map with the little icons. No. There is no mounts. There is a fast travel method which is limited resource cost associated, but they pointedly stated that the mount thing is an item that everyone asks for in the game, but then years after the fact, everyone points to that as the point where the immersive world sort of gets skipped and left behind. New World is the first next-gen fantasy MMO, and you can see this is visually stunning. Anybody who's watching the video that you see right now in front of you, it is fucking amazing. You can just not put into words the excitement of an MMO that has high-end looks normally reserved for single-player games. They have built-in proximity chat, so you can literally just walk up to someone in-game and talk to them and have them talk back without needing to set it up through Discord. Now, obviously, people will still be in Discord with their friends and party members, but this just random walk up and talk to someone allows for an unprecedented amount of immersion of just...
Presumably, I can also mute my microphone and also mute other squeakers who I really don't want to be listening to. I mean, that's one of the things that annoys me so much in Star Citizen, is you could be walking around and it's like suddenly, I was talking I was like, oh, for fuck's sake, get him off the voice chat.
Yes, you have complete control over that, to as much or as little of that as you like.
Okay.
Okay. So, when out in the world, for example, if you crouch behind a wall or tall grass, your nameplate disappears, making PvP stealth an actual real thing. The sound design in New World is second to none. They literally have FDev level sound geniuses working on this shit. As you run around questing, you hear the echoing in the distance of a musket shot or a loud axe chop on a tree trunk, that the one that finally snaps it, and then you hear the tree falling in the distance. This is all brought about with such loving care as to make an undeniable top quality product. You can hear the sounds of your footsteps in the high grass, the animals around you, crickets and frogs and owls and birds in the distance, even the swaying of the trees in the wind or water flowing down a river nearby. Now, I want to take a moment to give you an example of this. We're going to play a clip that I have set up, which I got to pull up the thing here. Yep. We're going to play, this is like a 13-14 minute video where the dude does sound stuff, but I just want to play the first couple minutes of it, and then I'm going to turn the volume down and leave it running in the background, so as we talk, you guys can hear what it's like. Now, I want to point out that New World has actually an amazing, the full sound thing, including it has like theme sort of songs like combat music, and different zones have different sounds. But this guy, to make a point, muted all of that and just played the ambient sound so you could hear what it's like. And now I want to share that with you. I'm going to play this. I'm going to mute us for just a minute, Ben. We're going to listen to like whatever, 2-3 minutes of this, and then we'll bring it back up so that we can hear it. You ready?
We spend so much of our time focusing and listening to the things that stick out that we may miss details that pass us by. Details that help to paint a picture of the world around us in such a way that enhances the entire experience, even if we, the player, are completely unaware of how these details are influencing us. The first time I walked out of the town at Windsward, I had a moment I didn't fully realize the gravity of. Are people... I can hear people knocking trees down from over here. Oh my god. That's fucking cool. I didn't even think I would notice something like that, but then as you walk out of town, you just hear people smacking trees. That's crazy. That's really cool, actually. There's no way for me to know what an integral part of the experience this would become for me for the next 70 hours or so. The world felt so alive, but I could never really nail down what it was that made me feel such a strong sense of place with this game. As I started to collect my thoughts, I found myself realizing I needed to do a little excursion into nature. Like some sort of basement-dwelling scientist, I set off into the wilds. Not sure what exactly I was looking for, I turned my in-game music and UI noises off, put away my interface, and turned up my headphones. Right from the moment I left town, I found way more than I could have imagined. Think about how it sounds when you are outside in a forest like this one. The sounds that you associate with a forest come from certain spots. While it's called ambience, it's not without its origin. You may not realize it, but your mind uses these sounds to create a mental picture of your surroundings. Many games use these sort of tracks to give you the illusion of a real place by letting your mind fill in the details through audio. This audio is often just a looping static track, with different areas having different ambience provided to give each a distinct feel. When I walked outside in New World, the difference was immediately clear. The ambience of this world has direction. Different types of areas and biomes have different sounds to fill the space. So while your mind is subconsciously mapping out your surroundings in terms of noises other players are making, these ambient noises also get mapped because they are attached to objects in the world. Another layer is that your surroundings and elevation affect modifiers that are added to any and all sounds. The effects put on these sounds are so damn good. It effectively tricks your mind into understanding the familiar distortion of the environment that it is in. This is just so damn clever. I had to record the same action in multiple spots just because I couldn't figure out if they were or not. They were. I'm not even sure how it does it either, as even similar ones sounded different from one another based on my character's position. I'm not even joking. These effects are simply so much more than just noise modifiers. It adds a real sense of scale and grounds the areas you move through. These layers alone establish a game world that feels grounded and real. Add in proximity chat, the ability to hear noises from a decent distance, even if you can't see the source, and some just excellent sound effects on just about everything. And each part simply builds off of one another rather than standing alone. I honestly found myself enjoying the serene sense of calm I felt while listening to the soundscape that this game creates. And I'm not saying the music is to blame, it's really good. I think the point of the music is to draw you away from these noises and let your mind fill in the details. I am still blown away by just how good this all sounds as a whole. From the effects to the distortions to the directional nature of every sound, it's just all so good at creating a believable world at the lowest level. I honestly don't know if I'm going to turn back on the music when I play on live servers. While New World may not be cram-packed with details and little things to notice, the way the audio gives a sense of existence to everything in the world should never be understated, as to me it's probably one of the chief reasons I fell in love with this game. It gave me a sense of world that had been missing with MMOs in my eyes, and the audio contributed to that immensely. I just didn't even realize it until 70 hours in. That's not healthy. Thanks for watching. If you like this whole mess of thoughts on ambient noises in a video game, subscribe for more like that. But Mike, there's a whole mess of video left. What's that about? So, because I am so in awe of the soundscape, here are some of my favorite parts of the whole 3+ hours I spent wandering around. Yes, I'm serious. Yes, it's that damn good. Yes, it's okay to be weird with me. I promise I won't tell anyone. If you want to do it on your own, remember to turn off both UI and music and audio, and Alt-H is to hide your interface. I hope you enjoy this. If not, I'll just be weird over here by my lonesome.
All right, Ben, I'm unmuting us for the rest of the video that goes on for like another 10 minutes or whatever. It's literally just background sounds and hear what the world is like. I like legit, as much as I have, let's say, critique about aspects of Elite Dangerous, their sound design team are fucking amazing. And these guys, the guys that do New World, as far as I'm concerned, are on that level of like just incredible. What did you think of this?
I had to run away AFK myself for a couple of minutes of it as well, but I came back for the part where they're cutting down the trees, and I was like, that is such a good idea. No, I think that was before I had to run away. Then I ran away, and then I came back, and you basically were like, right, we're going in now.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, you can hear it as we go. You can see this guy running around.
Well, no, I can't, because if I go and play the audio, then I'll be hearing us talking over the video, so I can't really listen in.
Fair enough.
Because I don't. Well, I'll be playing the audio. They'll be hearing me talk, hearing you talk. Then my microphone will be hearing us talk, and it'll all just get very confusing.
Fair enough. What did you think of the parts that you did hear?
The parts I heard, it does sound lovely. I love the idea. It's great. And sound. It's such a. People are getting that sound is important. It was always sort of overlooked for so long. And it is so critical to just the whole immersion that we just forget about it.
100%.
And I mean, it's an I think one of the Frontier developers was like, if we're doing our job right, you won't notice us. But if we do our job wrong, you'll realize this is shit. And it's so unappreciated until this is amazing, or this is absolutely terrible.
Yep.
And I mean, it sounds really nice. It sounds really interesting. I would love to hear, like, the differences between the different textures you're walking over, and more importantly, can I hear other people? Do you know if there's spatial audio or all that stuff as well? So if I'm like hiding upstairs, I could hear people below me and to the left and things.
100% there is. Not only if you're hiding upstairs can you hear that, but when you're out fighting a wolf on a random path, in the background you'll hear a musket shot from a mile away, and then you'll hear the crack of somebody chopping down a tree, and then you hear the tree fall. It is like, I can't, other than just to say, we will have the link in the show notes for this episode to that video. Go and listen to the full thing, and you will be like, oh my god, it's incredible. All right.
Is this guy doing the video, is he one of the devs, or is it just a player?
He's a player.
Gushing?
He's just a player gushing. Yep. All right, I'm about to dive deep into the setting and lore.
Before you dive in, no Witch's Teeth. This is not Elite Week, or Black Sky Legion, or Lave Radio. This is... It was going to be called Zero Prep. It's now called something else, I think. It's basically Kai and Ben shooting the shit.
Yeah, the Black Sky Legion regular show, which was Elite Week, happens every Friday night. It happened just 2 days ago. You can go and check that one, or you can catch us next Friday. This is the Sunday show, which the idea of is general fun and talking about New World, talking about gaming stuff, geek stuff, sci-fi, whatever the hell we feel like. All right.
Amanda Shorty, it is available on Steam right now for pre-order. Is that right?
I'm going to get into all of that. All right.
Because Shorty's asking us.
Yep.
Yep.
All right. So, let's get into the setting and the lore stuff. The setting of New World is a sort of alternate universe 17th century in which you set sail on an investigation looking for missing members of previous expeditions. I'm going to keep this brief and vague for story reasons, but basically you end up in a horrific storm which causes your ship to be lost at sea, and you wash up on the beach of an island called Eternum. The island seems to be a sort of hybrid Atlantis / the island from Lost. There's a magical storm surrounding the island, causing everyone there to be trapped. In addition to this, there are magical properties to the island, chief among them, a substance called Azoth, which seems to cause immortality on the island. In that, everything that dies seems to sort of pop back up not long after. This is a nifty little trope that explains player and mob respawns in the universe. There are massive ruins created by a race called the Ancients, about whom very little is known at first, but you will uncover a lot of information about them and as you sort of progress through the game and your travels. In addition to this, there's a mysterious sort of interdimensional invasion where beings called the Corrupted, which seem to have been sort of let in through a doorway created by the Ancients in their dabbling with dark magics long, long ago. And then their minions, the Ancients' minions, which are called the Ancients, they're referred to that way in the game, and perhaps even Ancients themselves once you progress far enough to uncover secrets buried behind, or beneath rather, their long-abandoned temples and monuments. The very land itself is the third sort of faction of PvE creatures that you encounter. It's transformed the magical properties of Azoth, which gives rise to a group known as the Angry Earth. They are dryads and earth elemental type creatures in various forms of animals and or humanoids that will attack all who encroach upon their sacred domain. And lastly, there are the Lost. Those creatures basically represent the souls drawn out to the island one way or another, much as yourself, but who little by little lost more and more of their soul through the repeated resurrections. These zombies, ghouls, skeletons, and various other monstrosities are doomed to wander the land angrily and mindlessly attacking any who they encounter. Pray that you don't die one too many times and start down their path. These 4 PvE NPC types, augmented with natural creatures such as bear, deer, goats, wolves, etc., comprise the various PvE factions that you will encounter in New World, at least those known to you at launch. In addition to this, you will find that the players of New World are divided among 3 player factions. There are the Marauders, which are green. Their color is green. And they are a military-style faction who believe in the goal of establishing a free nation where anyone with the strength to do so can prosper and profit. There's the Syndicate, which are purple. And they are a secretive organization of boundless guile and intellect who search for forbidden knowledge to usher in a new age of enlightenment. And there's the Covenant, or red. They are a fanatical order that has charged itself with cleansing the world of heretics and defilers so that its true holy nature can flourish and be restored. So those are the 3 groups of players and the 4 groups of NPC types, along with just wild animals. What do you think, Ben?
And we have... It sounds... So basically, I'm joining as a human. Can I play anything else? Like, can I play a dwarf or an elf or... You know, an undead zombie or whatever if I want?
No. And I'm about to get into the why for that in just a minute, but that is a very good question. That is a great question, and it's important, actually, I think.
Yeah. Are there tangible differences between green, purple, and red? Or is it just, here's a little bit of boilerplate text, but actually they're all the same?
With regard to the green, purple, and red, there are very important differences, such that, so whatever team you're on, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is, like, that's your group. And all of the players on your server are going to be separated into one of those three teams. And so, for example, if purple owns the whole map, you know, they get all of the benefits. And green and red will sort of get together to try to
but you were
overthrow
mentioning that, like, purple were guile or something like that, I think you said.
So green, basically, green are military, purple are like knowledge seeker, secretive society people, and red are like religious fanatics.
Are there some kind of stat benefits or equipment benefits to picking a faction?
Yes and no. There are no stat benefits. There are each of the three what do you call it, factions have their own faction store, and they offer different things. And this is my personal opinion only, it seems to me that, at least according to the stuff that was in the beta, and we'll have to see if this changes on launch, seems to me like the green faction, the military guys, have the better of weapons and armor sets. But it is largely a just personal choice thing. Like, oh, I like this, I like that, I want to role play sort of this whatever as opposed to that whatever. I personally don't in any way vibe with religious fanatics, and the Syndicate seem a little too much up their own butt as far as whatever. I'm much more the military guy, the Marauders, but like, you can choose whatever you want, and we'll get into you can also change your choice. We'll get into that in just a minute. I just wanted to kind of give you a brief overview. Yeah.
Okay.
So how about we dig on to the next section here?
Moving on, yeah.
Once you progress in the storyline to around level 12-ish, you will reach the point of declaring for one of these three factions. Once this is done, you can also join a company, which is the name in this game for whatever, choose your own player groups: guild, clan, corp, org, player minor faction, etc. You free company in Final Fantasy, you get the point. These are groups of up to 100 players, and all must be pledged to the same faction. They come in a myriad of styles, from roleplay groups to general PvE groups to dedicated PvP groups or PvX groups. Companies buy, invade, and defend settlements, cities. Owning a settlement gives the governor or the company of company king, leader, whatever of that player group. It gives him or his designated subordinates the ability to sort of levy taxes to offset, because there's upkeep costs for the settlements, to decide how the settlements are going to be upgraded, etc., as well as, make decisions on, how the settlement is going to be laid out, and various defenses, who's going to defend against attacks, who's going to make an attack if you're attacking, etc., etc. It is a very, very cool system. And yes, those companies are broken up, as I said, into groups of 100. But you can have 30 different companies that are pledged to a faction. Companies are the smaller subgroups, and you can set up allegiances and work with other companies. And there are some people in the beta already where they had 5 or 6 companies, and it's like, okay, we're all working together, whatever. That is a completely player controlled sort of ability to do whatever. You can also set specific missions for your settlement if you're the governor or one of his proxies. So I can, if I'm the governor of Black Sky Legion company, I can have Wolf or Roy or Ben set, like, oh, here, set these missions. We want to build this kind of thing. We want to go in that direction. So In addition to the direct ownership perks and responsibilities of owning a settlement, there are more general advantages to having a territory owned by your general faction, whether or not they're in your company, including discounts on purchases, a wide range of bonuses, ensuring that the factions will be motivated to try to take and hold key strategic positions, as well as just large portions of the map in general. As a player, you can own up to 3 houses in various settlements. Every player can teleport for free once an hour back to their inn, which you can set in any settlement. Houses come in various sizes and allow you to decorate them to your taste with an intricate system of crafting and furnishing arrangements, as well as these furnishings can provide players with buffs and additional storage capacity, in addition to the housing providing additional free teleports that are tied to the variable timer depending on the level of the home. So cheaper homes have like a 2-hour cooldown on the teleport ability. The more expensive ones can go down to like an hour, or I think even like half an hour. We'll see how that lands on launch. They played with it a little bit during the alpha beta. Once you choose a faction, you are locked into that faction for 120 days. And while you can swap after that, you cannot swap to the dominant faction on your server. In addition, you can only be in a company with other members of the same faction. Although you can group up with other faction members for PvE content so long as none of you are flagged. And you can freely speak with other faction members at all times. And now we're going to dive into the lore. So strap in with your tinfoil hat. And Ben, I'm going to ask you on this particular one, let me get through the whole lore thing, and then we're going to have a huge open discussion.
Lore, what about guild meeting houses and things?
There is sort of a thing for that, but there isn't like sort of yes and sort of no. And there is a general sort of, there are little buildings or whatnot. They've talked about more stuff that will be coming in the future. You can invite people into your personal home. So much like Final Fantasy XIV, you can take a home and make it your sort of guild home. But that is a thing that is like sort of up in the air as to, okay, what's going to come with future expansions and whatnot. But there is in the real settlement, there is like a settlement house where is like the owner, you know, whatever. All right. So now we get to the lore. Strap in and get your tinfoil hats ready. Many people commented through the beta that the gameplay seemed awesome and the graphics and sound were incredible. The mechanics seemed very polished, but the story was meh, and the questline just ended abruptly and early. Amazon responded that those people should have looked into the already on-record statements that they had made, where they said they had purposely held back the lore and cut the questline short, basically after the extended tutorial, to collect useful beta information while holding back the wow factor of the story for launch. So that being said, let's look at some of the very interesting bits of lore we have available hidden in the promotional material and make some fun tinfoil speculations. Number 1, I very much suspect that like the island from Lost, there is some timey-wimey stuff going on here. I won't get too much into the details for spoiler reasons, but one clear instance of this, if you look on the screen right now, you see Isabella, the woman that with the weird eyes, whatnot. Isabella is a very key sort of antagonist from the storyline from around the 16th century. And yet, there's a part of the story where it says she sort of brought a certain Chinese princess from centuries prior to the island and bound her to service. So in addition to that, we get some hints from the ancients dealing with powerful magics, including manipulating various forbidden aspects of life and time magics. So there's some timey-wimey shit going on here that's interesting. Number 2, Amazon has been quite clever in hiding clues in plain sight in various promotional releases. One case in point is the main wallpaper image. I'm going to bring that up here for you to see. This is the main image, or wallpaper image for the game. It has a mosaic comprised of Isabella in the foreground and the forces of darkness on the left, with the background is their area of that large mountain that's suffused with corrupted magics, all of which is in a muted, evil, reddish-looking darkness. And the living forces are on the right side, comprised of players in various weaponry and armor get-ups and whatnot, in the foreground with the backdrop of an ancient temple on the far... Actually, let me move this up a layer so that it's not hidden by chat. We'll move that up to here. There you go. And in the background, you can see that ancient temple, all of which is bathed in, you know, the light. You've got the dark forces of darkness versus the forces of light and whatnot. And the whole thing, these images, this tableau, is separated by a conquistador style figure in a Lorian helm with a very stylized metal faceplate. On the left side of the helm, on the evil side, is a glowing sort of evil eye of fire, and on the right side of the helm, the eye socket is empty, but appearing to have some blood seeping out through the eye hole. Etched on the cheek, just under the eye, is a very clearly scratched Eternum, and this is a very obvious reference that everyone caught. Eternum is the name of the island. But below that is a much more subtle group of etchings that require you to zoom in multiple times. But curiously, the picture is high enough quality that you can do that and still make out what is written. It is in Latin, and it is a body of text translated from the Bible. Specifically, Revelations 22, verse 1 and 2. The English translation from Latin reads, "And he showed me a pure river of the water of life, clear as crystal, proceeding from the throne of God and the Lamb. In the middle of its street and on either side of the river was the tree of life, which bore 12 fruits, each yielding its fruit every month. And the leaves of the tree were for the healing of the nations." Okay. So considering the premise of the game is that these themes were sort of already known in this story, that there's this very sort of strong and deep lore tie-in, which alone hints to sort of a deep body of lore to dig into. All along the entire game, there's random little pieces of parchment that you will sort of come across. They grant some small XP buff, but it's worth it. People grab all of the little pieces of parchment as you go, just as a player, even if you don't give a shit about the story. You grab it for the XP, and they're automatically stored in your journal in the process. The game seems like it's playing the long game on a sort of amazing lore evolution and facilitating all of it in a way that you can go back after the fact and enjoy the lore, even if you were completely oblivious to it while you were speed leveling. They reward the players with those quick hits of bonus XP that are definitely worth grabbing and not passing up. And then it later pays off in retrospect when you go back and read through your journal. These stories all complement the real evolving story that you get while questing through the MSQ. The dungeons for those, there's story bits that you will actually see very clearly as you go along. In one of the Universe Lore promo videos from the official New World YouTube page, a character known as Father Russo talks about the island holding a mystical power that the church knows about and is zealously pursuing, but they're keeping it as a jealously guarded secret from the populace. Now, I'm not trying to go super preachy Christian here or anything like that, but just bear with me for a moment as we speculate on the biblical premises of this that, many Christians will be familiar with. And yes, this is the church in Rome. So Adam and Eve, who took from the tree of knowledge, but were sort of cast out from the Garden of Eden before they could eat from the fruit from the tree of life. Is this the reason why the church is sending expedition after expedition looking in there? And lore point 2. The conquistador is wearing an armor adorned with the traditional symbol of the Knights Templar. They were a famed Catholic military chivalrous order First recognized in 1139 under the original title, the Poor Fellow Soldiers of Christ and the Temple of Solomon. This prominent order turned out to be anything but poor. They became vastly wealthy through the Crusades. They were known as the Christian warrior monks. They were also comprised, though, of a very large contingent of non-combat members who, among other things, managed a vast fortune of plundered and invested wealth infrastructure. The Knights Templar were a very strong contingent between the 1100s and 1312. They were also credited as establishing one of the first banks of the world. This, along with the shrewd investing and playing of power games by their leadership, brought them to an outright sort of moment of supreme power and wealth within sort of, Europe. And they also plundered the shit out of the Holy Land, let's be honest. and that granted them even more money and power. They did in fact use a decent portion of their wealth to build a massive fleet of ships to suit their purposes. They were eventually disbanded as they grew too wealthy, and Pope Clement V and some of his backers took the opportunity to spin rumors about dark rituals and as an excuse to have them declared heretics and killed or captured in a coordinated, prearranged, simultaneous attack that happened in 1312. While this managed to drive the order underground and grasp a large portion of their wealth, an even larger portion of their wealth was never found, and key members of the order inexplicably escaped, never to be found by their pursuers. This, along with allegations that they were hidden away relics such as the Holy Grail and the Ark of the Covenant, has long led them to be favorites of legends, conspiracy theories, and speculation. They have long been credited as some of the greatest treasure hunters / thieves, depending on your viewpoint, the world has ever known, hoarding relics of all types. Now here's where we go way deep in the weeds. In 1898, a farmer in Minnesota, in the U.S., located a slab of rock dated as being from 1362, and inscribed upon this rock was a hooked X, which is a famous symbol that is known to be used, or was known to be used, by the Knights Templar. Author and researcher Scott Walter has speculated that this could hint at the Templars using some of their vast fleet to escape the clutches of their enemies within Catholicism and relocate to North America. Now, this is in addition to already discovered links that very strongly suggest that both the Chinese explorers and Vikings had set foot in America long before Columbus in 1492. Now, interestingly enough, there seems to be lore hints in the game that the Chinese, the Vikings, and the Templars were all on Eternum. So bringing this back down to the non-tinfoil biblical revelation levels, I'm not saying that any of these ideas are something that I subscribe to in real life, and I'm not looking to ask people about their beliefs. I'm merely pointing out that these things are generally known in certain circles among members of fairly established religion and or historical conspiracy theorists. So there's no reason to think that Amazon didn't hire a writer to spin a good yarn that went deep into the tinfoil hat territory and gave a very cool framework for a backdrop to use with their lore and their setting. Let's take another look at the conquistador in the image. If you zoom in to the shadow side of the nose on that faceplate, you can check out and see that same hooked X, the symbol of the Templars. Why did Amazon choose to describe their setting as, quote, an alternate history of 17th century, instead of going with a magical realm of fairies and demons? For that matter, why are there no elves, dwarves, gnomes, orcs, hobbits, etc.? I think Amazon is playing the long game here and is going against the grain to tell a fantastical story of alternate history that could actually be plausible, if not directly believable. And they're making a setting that people can sort of get into deeply as they continue to progress.
They're going biblical on our asses, basically. In a, the Bible taking some really, really weird shit And, you know, whether you deem it as real or not, there is some weird shit going on in the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, especially in Revelations, that is seriously messed up.
And again, I'm not promoting any of these theories as being like, this is real, this is... I'm just saying it's a cool, interesting
you just
yarn.
take it as a framework.
As a backdrop for a lore, for a setting, for a game. So, all right. You can find countless... just to sum it up, you can find countless people who've played the beta time after time saying, I don't know what it is about this game, but there's something special about it that makes me want to keep playing. In my opinion, the reason for that, after nearly a decade of copycat MMOs that were basically trying to copy WoW with one different sort of gimmick or hook to differentiate themselves, along with Amazon coming at the game with completely turns that trend on its head, bringing it back to classic features that made old school MMOs fantastic while simultaneously leaping forward with next level visuals and sound design. You know, you ditch all of the crap that built up in the wrong turn of nerfing the world. No tab targeting. You learn to aim or you miss. You learn to dodge or you suffer. No mythical races, realism and equality. No mini-map. You unfurl your map and you use your compass to figure it out. Magical GPS overlaid in the corner of your view everywhere you go every second is the beginning of the brain-dead gameplay that is shortly followed by icons on those mini-maps that tell you where to go for every quest, NPC, and node. This is what killed MMOs, and it's the dumbing down of everything. New World is a vibrant world that you should pay attention to, and reading the quest text and using your map that you can unfurl and look at any point gives you plenty of access to that, but you pay attention to the world as you go. There's no looking for group or looking for raid. The community is real, you earn your rep, and you live or die by it. There's no spammable dungeons run over and over and over with absolute disrespect. When it costs resources to craft your key to get into the dungeon, that dungeon matters, and your rep to get in there matters. If people know you as being a waste of time, they're not going to work with you. No PvE game that is just has a shitty anemic PvP component tacked on as an afterthought. New World is a real balanced game that provides equally meaningful PvE and PvP gameplay loops in a way that highly encourages PvX, player versus all, mixing it all together. No classes, you skill up in what you do. No mounts, travel means something. No magically traveling loot lockers. Your homes, forts, and territories mean something, and you put thought into where you're storing your shit. Player-built economy where crafting has a real value. That's all of it. I'm spent. What do you think, Ben? Let's talk.
It is actually sounding interesting. Even if I just play it through for the 1 to 60 story or whatever the hell they've got there.
Well, and it's looking like every 2 months or so there's going to be a new update, new added stuff to the game. Several times a year, here's a new zone, here's a new weapon, here's a new whatever. Oh, can I throw in one more thing that might help sway you just a little bit? Unlike some game developers who charge you $60 for an advanced look of their game, and then it turns out to be shite, New World launches on September the 28th. You can play it then with everyone. But what if you say, yeah, that sounds great, but I don't pre-order games because I've been screwed too many times in the past? Well, a little bit. I would respond to you, Ben, that with New World, you can go onto Steam on September the 8th, 24 hours before it launches, and request a free... Yep, in just a couple days' time. And request a free game key. So 3 days from now, you can request a free game key. And there is a free open beta. You don't have to buy shit. You can play it from September 9th to September 12th for as much as you want, even having purchased nothing. So you can put 100 hours into it and then go, I don't like this game, and don't buy it. That's how much they believe in their product. They are literally letting you try it for nothing.
9 through 12.
9 through the 12th is
Damn, that's only a couple of days then.
It's the last open beta, but I mean, you can also play it
if you're here this
on the
weekend.
28th, next weekend.
Yeah.
Thursday through Sunday.
This weekend coming.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but what I'm saying is,
on the 28th.
What I'm saying
if
is,
I
though,
wanted to play on the 28th, I would have to pay for it. I can't get 5 days free or something like that from the 28th.
No, Ben. Yeah, if you want to buy the game, generally that's how games work. If you want to play it, you have to buy it.
Oh, yeah, but they might have said, hey, you want to try our game? It's going to be, try it for 4 days, anytime after the 28th. And if you like it on the 4th, if you like it on day 5, then you're going to have to pony up 35 quid.
Well, you go ahead and make a game, and then you market it how you like. But what they're doing is 9th through the 12th, you get to play it for free. And you can download it on the 8th, so you can have it set up ahead. It's not a matter of on the 9th you start the download, and several hours later you get to play.
Steam.
No, this is download it on the 8th and play it when you want. 9th through the 12th.
Is it PC only, or is the word about it coming cross-platform?
Right now, it is PC only. This is just me personally, and I don't mean to be disrespectful, but I hope to God that they don't put this to platforms, because every time we see awesome games that are PC only get put to platforms, then they nerf the shit out of it, and they turn down the settings, and they whatever. The settings on this game are fantastic, and you cannot run this if you're not on a PC.
Yeah, but if it were going on, say, Xbox One X or whatever the most thing, or PS5, would open it up to a lot more people.
Okay.
And if they bring in,
I
have no idea what the controls are going to be.
I hope they never do it because of what I already just told you.
Yeah, I hope they do it on the condition that they don't smeg up the PC experience for it. If the PS5 can't do it, don't give it all that nice shiny graphics that require a 3090.
I can just, after
ray tracing on it.
Again, I can't tell you any different than what I've told you 3 times already.
Yeah.
Every time we see people say, "Oh no, we're going to expand and we're going to put this on consoles," and we promise it won't hurt the PC version. We always see the PC version turn to shit. So just don't do it.
Yeah, I know, but I guess I'm mainly thinking because it would be nice to be able to play this with my kids.
Okay.
But
get them a PC.
They mostly play on their Xboxes with their mates.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough.
So if I can run around using a gamepad and play the game successfully, I don't care where the platform's played on, so long as you say, they don't compromise other platforms to be on it. I mean, you shouldn't compromise the PC release for console. No.
I personally am going to be playing this on a Xbox Elite controller because and I've seen they have already said that they are going to later, not at launch, they are going to support fully Xbox controllers, but you can already do it using the Steam Xbox controller setup, and it works just fine. Ginger Prime, one of my old go-to content creators for Final Fantasy content, that's how he played through the whole thing, and it works just fine. But again, I will reiterate what I've already said 4 times now. Do not put this on consoles. It's going to do nothing but shit on the game as it, and even if it doesn't,
why can you say that?
Ben, no, because
you're saying you
Ben,
don't trust Amazon.
No. Because even if you do it, what that happens is, okay, we can do it with the shit at launch, and now we're going to nerf all of our subsequent shit. We're going to lower our expectations of what comes out. Just don't do it. Star Citizen is like, we're not doing that stuff because that caused us to fuck. Look, we saw what happened with Elite. Did you not see what happened with Elite?
Oh, I've seen what happened with Elite.
They brought in...
Okay. Did you see what happened with No Man's Sky?
No Man's Sky, with all due respect, Look at the Nomansky graphics, and then look at what you're seeing on the screen. You're comparing
But you can
filet
get this
mignon
kind of
with a
graphics.
peanut butter jelly sandwich, man.
Yeah, but you can get this kind of graphics on the Xbox or on the PlayStation.
Okay.
You know, like,
All right.
is Mass Effect Remastered? That's on PlayStation, isn't it?
We can sit here on the show and talk for the next 10 hours. You're not going to change.
Yeah.
You're not going to change my viewpoint on that.
I think we both have valid viewpoints, and I'm 100% with you that I don't want them to ruin the PC version just to make it enabled on console.
So here's what
that would suck.
Here's what we're looking at to sum it up. We're looking at a phenomenal next level graphics game that has full open world PvP, PvE. It doesn't favor either side. Both sides get a full experience. Full crafting, do whatever you want. It has all of the best parts of old school games in a time that we have been in a drought for good content in the fantasy MMO world. And they have so much faith in their product that they're literally letting you just try it out for free with zero commitment.
And I mean, that's awesome. If you're around this weekend, why the hell wouldn't you?
This has had over 2 billion. Let me see. Let me pull this up here because I want to see this.
Billion with a B.
2 billion with a B minutes watched on Twitch. Over 1 million people have played the alpha and closed beta. This game is polished as fuck, and it has just it literally is just that. All I can say is go find just look at people look at Twitch VODs, look at YouTube videos. People who play this go, I can't quite put my finger on it, but it's amazing, and I want to keep playing it.
Yeah, I mean, I suspect if I was to play it, my concerns would be only being able to do. If I was going to play it, my concerns would be how much of it can I play by myself versus how much do I need to party up with people. If I'm going to party up with people, I want to party up with, what would become my guild.
Mm-hmm.
But then if I'm wanting to party up with my guild and no one's actually wanting to bother to run the dungeons with me, then that feels like there's a whole load of... And that's the whole reason why the entire looking for group system came about.
The looking for group system and looking for raid system is shite.
It is, and it encourages going down to the lowest common denominator.
It's entirely lazy and unnecessary. I played vanilla WoW before that shit existed, and people would hang out in the town closest to that dungeon, or people would go to the entrance of that dungeon and say, hey, I want to run whatever, and you have multiple chats in this game that are available to you to arrange to whatever. But also... you have to talk to people to make something like that happen. And like I said, you get a rep. If I get a situation where it's like, oh shit, did you see what, Ben did? As soon as we got in there.
Talking about rep, back in my day, when all this were fields, etc., I played on Emerald Dream. And I had a rep on Emerald Dream EU. But then WoW went off and introduced the server meshing. And then they went off and meshed all the more servers together. So Emerald Dream was actually one of about 10 servers. And, your name on a server became less, was devalued, basically.
And that is shit.
So, I mean, do you know if this is going to be, right, I'm playing on server 1, and server 1 is server 1, or are we all on one server?
No, you are playing on, there are servers. Now, they have expanded the number of players on the servers. It started with 1,000 players per server, and I think they are pushing it to, I think they pushed it in the last beta to 10,000 servers. I think in this next beta, they're going to try...
10,000 servers?
No, 10,000 players in a server.
Okay.
I think in this next beta... they have made hints that they're going to try to push it. I think they're probably going to try to get it to around 20,000 players or so on a server. But that is your static server. You are always there. And you are limited to create one character in each data cluster. So along a group of servers, so that because you don't need to.
What I was about to ask there.
You have your rep. You have your name. You live and die off of that. Now, it's classless system, so you could be a tank one day and a healer the next. But the fact of the matter is just you personally, as a real life person, your rep matters, which was entirely the point of where the looking for group, looking for raid, instanced million different servers, nobody ever knows anyone. That's where it all went to shit as far as I'm concerned.
What about, you're saying server meshes, so I'm assuming this is, there's going to be servers in the EU versus servers in the US, Oceania, possibly more.
There are going to be servers in America, or North America, EU, and Australia.
Right.
At launch.
At launch.
But it's Amazon Web Servers. Who knows? They could they could spool up servers wherever the hell they want and cover the world.
Oh, they've got data clusters all over the place. And any idea how the, let's say I wanted to go off and play with you on an American server. How, especially because this isn't tab targeting and random numbers, how badly do you any idea how badly ping is affecting?
We've already seen multiple people that played in the alpha and the beta. For example, there's a New World podcast, I forget the name of it, but it's one guy in Canada, one guy in like somewhere central US, and one guy in Europe, and they all three play on the North American servers. And the guy from Europe was saying that his ping was very, very good. It was not a problem.
Because I know, like for example, I've played on Australian servers for things, and it's horrendous sometimes.
Again,
I've played on Australian servers, and sometimes it's okay.
Again, this is Amazon Game Studios, who just happens to own Amazon Web Servers. So
other way around, but yeah.
No, AWS.
but they're all under the Amazon umbrella. Yeah, I know what you mean.
So
I guess the obvious question is just to turn it into Sky things. When are we getting the Blue Origin update?
There you go. So this, the crafting system is amazing. The gathering system is amazing. The sound is amazing. The graphics are amazing. It has the right feel. And the people who have played it, again, I challenge you. Ask anyone who's actually played it. Hey, man, what do you think? And you will invariably get, oh, I love this. I didn't like that so much, this, that, and the other. And then you ask them, okay, what's your overall feel? And they will say, like, I can't quite put my finger on it, but it's just really, there's something. It's just really, really good. I think, like I said, over the last decade, maybe 15 years, there's been a trend that has been taking fantasy MMOs in the wrong direction. And I see this as reversing that. I see this reversing that hard. While, like, there's some games that have taken steps to reverse that, stuff like, Albion Online, but those games are sort of little indie whatever that have their own limitations, where you're looking at a sort of top-down 2.5D, very, limited graphics and sound game, as opposed to this is just no compromise. It's all of what is great about EverQuest 1 while looking like Skyrim and able to play with your friends. Well, you know what I mean. The next level. Yeah. And part of for the pre-order package there, you just saw the in the house, the dog. Yeah. That's part of the pre-order package. You get the dog in your house. Yeah.
The dog.
Yeah.
So if it were a husky, that's what would a husky would 100% swing it for me.
Well, it's a mastiff, and it's just as good.
Either a husky or a border collie. I love border collies.
Fair.
border collies are brilliant dogs.
This idea though, this is like it's mixing, like I said, it's mixing in the lore is like you're mixing in like Atlantis with that island from Lost where it like has magical weird properties and does timey-wimey shit like ugh.
Yeah, I have to admit, there's an element of me that's almost not. I'd almost want to be able to play one of the skeletons and the bad guys.
All right. Well, you need to find another game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm just seeing some of the design of those skeletons and the
It's very
evil
cool.
characters, and it's like bollocks to this human shit. Let me play that.
Fair. All right.
That looks. I would be rocking some of that look.
Okay. I just look at these. Oh, here's another thing. You see all these like hills and like mountains and whatever.
Yeah.
They made all of that shit completely climbable. You see pictures and videos and stuff of people that went through and they climbed up the side of a mountain. They climbed up the back, way to get into something. Like, oh my god. And I very specifically kept a lot of the story stuff. There's a lot of stuff I know about the story that I have not said because I was like, oh, I don't want to mention. I didn't.
You don't want to spoil that shit.
I will say the one of the new zones that is coming very very soon after launch. Did I mention the Burning Sands? It's an Egypt base. Oh my god! And the stuff that I've seen from that, some of the concept stuff, and some of the they've had people that actually just got in and through some glitch or whatever were able to like run around and like get to the area, and you see these like Egyptian themed like environments and whatnot, and you're like, oh, I can't wait for that expansion.
Yeah.
There's a Rock, Eben something is one of the areas, and it is a very sort of 13th century themed Chinese, very very Asian like zone where the mobs.
It's like Port Olisar. We've got cherry blossoms everywhere.
That's not Olisar, that's Orison. But
Orison, sorry, yeah.
the mobs and the buildings are these like pagoded palace type buildings and all. It's so cool. All right, Ben. So let me ask you, with everything that I brought up about the game, and the fact that you get to play it for free for 4 days, what do you think?
I think I'm glad I'm going to be around this weekend because if it were on a weekend when I weren't going to be around, I wouldn't be able to even try it. And so I'm glad I'll be able to at least give it a shot this weekend, probably, if I want to. It does look interesting. I want to see how the combat actually plays. I can't quite decide how I'd want to play it, if you know what I mean. One of the things that obviously, and you, as you alluded to at the beginning of the show, I'm doing that many other things that the concept of, right, we're now raiding a dungeon every Tuesday and Thursday, I can't do that anymore. We used, back when I was playing WoW, we were raiding three nights a week, and if we expected everyone to be there.
Yeah, but not everybody, even in WoW, not everybody raids. You can be a player that just plays in the open world and does dungeons.
That's how I used to roll.
Sure, of course, everybody used to be 20. Yeah,
and we were very much the same in SWOTOR as well. And there is definitely an aspect of me that would be concerned about the content I'd be missing if I couldn't put that kind of dedication to the game again.
Okay.
Because certainly in WoW and in SWOTOR, some of the best content in the game, some of the most challenging content in the game was the raids. And I just don't have that kind of time I can dedicate anymore.
So for the record, they don't have raid content per se in this game as of now. They have single player content, they have group content, open world, and they have um, what do you call it? Dungeon content.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what they have. So raids may be coming. People have asked for it, and they've said they're looking into it. But
I know, some of my best experiences playing WoW was like the original, doing Molten Core, and half the battle was finding 40 people to show up, which is obviously why WoW nerfed and nerfed and nerfed and nerfed and nerfed, and sort of started drooling and pretending it's like some little 3-year-old.
yeah,
Um, but that was some of the most enjoyable content I had, and I look back on those times, especially the Onyxia run, actually, because that was, still 40 people, but it was a nice, quick,
mm.
in, clear, out, done kind of thing. You're not dedicating like 5-6 hours of gameplay to it.
Yeah.
But it was still the large player, and we're fighting a motherfucking dragon here. You're gonna need a few people.
I remember it very, 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 very plainly, and I remember even
yeah.
soloing Onyx at the end of. I think it was at the end of at the end of Burning Crusade with my Paladin. I soloed Onyxia. Yeah, good stuff.
So
yeah, good times.
That stuff and that massive content is amazing and it is rewarding, but it's also a ball ache.
You're not wrong. All right. So when we started this, you literally knew nothing about New World. When we started this conversation, I even asked you right before we went live. I said, "What do you know about New World?" And you say, "It's another WoW knockoff." In what way has your thought on the game changed?
It's done one of the things that I always liked, which is the last fantasy game I ever really enjoyed would have been Skyrim. And one of the key things I enjoyed about that was it's not like every other RPG, which, and these things all basically boil back to the Baldur's Gate system, frankly. And Baldur's Gate boils back to advanced D&D. Select your targets, cast your spell, recharge, rinse and repeat. Whereas Skyrim, you're swinging your sword or you're firing your magic missiles and things like that, and if you miss, you miss. And if you dodge, you dodge. So that's one of the things I really appreciated about Skyrim. And it's got that for the combat system. I agree with that.
Okay.
I've never been a massive fan of crafting. We'll see how that goes. I am concerned how important that seems. And that was one of the things that kind of put me off a wee bit about Star Wars Galaxies. The lore, I love the idea of an alternative history, sort of an alternative Christianity lore. I love the idea of that. I think it's really, really powerful and interesting stuff. It looks gorgeous. It really does look absolutely gorgeous.
Now everything is a complete player economy, so you can choose to run dungeons, do stuff to make money, grind, whatever, and then just buy whatever you want off the auction house. You don't have to craft anything if you choose not to.
Indeed, so you just have to see how that all goes. It's very adventurous by Amazon. I mean, this is Amazon Studios' first foray into gaming, as far as I'm aware.
They have some other small games that are already gone. This is their first. This is their first big MMO. They started on a Lord of the Rings thing, and then they looked at it and said, "We just don't like where this is going. We don't feel like this is worthwhile," and then just said, "Yeah, we're gonna stop." The fact that they first off, they have invested years into this. It is their show platform for Lumberyard, and
I
and
mean, I love Lumberyard has a lot of potential. I love the idea of Lumberyard, and I've looked into doing some development in it. So
mm,
yeah, I'm not, yeah, I'm interested by that. But wasn't so. But Lumberyard's CryEngine as well, isn't it? Is that right?
yep, it is a variant of it, and it is what they are using for Star Citizen.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Although I mean, this is looking well. At least I'm seeing double frame rates in the videos. Um. So I mean, yeah, it looks absolutely lush. Lumberyard looks like a very solid system. I don't know of any major games though that have been released on it yet.
The first two big games for it are this and Star
Yeah,
Citizen.
it's so Lumberyard is Star Citizen now as well, is it?
Yeah, it's
Because
been Star Citizen.
I thought Star Citizen were off an earlier branch of CryEngine.
They were, and then they swapped, and then there was a whole big
Okay,
lawsuit about it.
yeah.
Yep.
Okay, I didn't realize Star Citizen's using Lumberyard as well.
It is.
I mean, the one thing that I'm looking at this and I'm like, my God, this looks lovely. Why can't we have it in 40K in the 40K universe?
That would also be a very, very cool game.
Yeah.
I mean, a different game, but yeah, I would be
You know,
down.
Take this idea and this kind of killing things and interacting with the universe,
Hmm.
but move it to the 40K universe.
I would definitely be down.
Because yeah, I'd love a proper 40K MMO, modern 40K MMO. That'd be so good.
I would also enjoy that. I would
Yeah.
enjoy a 40K. I would enjoy a classic Warhammer. I would enjoy a Pathfinder or a D&D
I love
in
Pathfinder.
in this
Oh,
context.
GURPS. I mean, take the GURPS universe.
Yeah. I would honestly, looking at this, I would love to see a Lord of the Rings in this. You know what? There's
Problem with the Lord of the Rings, it's so cliche now, and I think that's why I'm glad they're not going down that route.
Yeah, I get it.
So yeah, I'm glad they're not going down that route. Oh God, I'm sorry. I'm just thinking, Expanse MMO.
I would love to see. What was that? It was a kind of a cheesy MTV fantasy story, but it was done in a very, very cool world. The books were amazing. The Shannara Chronicles.
Mm.
I would love to
Okay.
see a Shannara Chronicles, especially when you see these ruins from the ancients. Certain aspects of these ancient ruins remind me very much of some of the ruins from the Shannara Chronicles. Did you ever read those books, or do you know the story?
I've not read them. No.
So the premise of it, just real, the 40,000 foot view, to sum it up in like a sentence or two, is imagine it's thousands and thousands and thousands of years into the future. It's Earth, and it was, Detroit and Philly and New York and London and all of the places. It's regular Earth as in today, but there's World War III, massive destruction, almost, it's post-apocalyptic, devastation, and it sort of resets people to a certain extent, sort of to Stone Age times, and also with as a result of the radiation levels and whatever, humanity sort of gets morphed into what come to resemble dwarves and elves and humans and
Yeah.
and gnomes, and those are the big main races. And then cut to whatever 50,000 years of evolution, 60 or 1,000 or more years of evolution, so that it really does branch off those let's say mutations into their very own
speciated.
into their very own distinct races. And so you have this kind of magical, mystical realm of elves and dwarves and shit, but in the background you'll see stuff in certain places like the Seattle Space Needle or the Eiffel Tower or the or whatever. And it's just
Yeah.
very, very cool. They talk about like the land that was or whatever, and it's like they're talking about San Francisco or they're talking about whatever. It is good shit.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm just. It looks so pretty, and it's going to be very interesting to see how day one release goes.
Mm.
But as you said, this is on AWS thing, yeah, and I could be, I would not be surprised if it's like, whoops a daisy, yeah, you know that business server? Well, we've accidentally moved it over onto this now. Whoopsie, because it's so critical for them to get the day one release right
Mm. I mean,
that they have to be able to spin everything up.
I think to a certain extent, MMOs will be MMOs even with Amazon. There will be your standard first day, whatever. But yeah, I think they have shown that they have the capability to make it work, and I
It'll be
think
interesting to see how this weekend how it scales up.
it will. It will be very
Yeah.
interesting. All right, is there anything else that you wanted to cover on New World? I think we covered a whole lot of New
We're
World.
pretty covered.
All right. Do you have any other stuffs that you wanted to get into? I know Lower Decks dropped like 2 weeks ago, and that was legit. I'm crazy fucking hyped for later this month, September 24th. Foundation is going to drop. I think that could be a nice conversation with you, me, and Suv next week. You got
That's on Amazon, isn't it? That one? No, that's on not Amazon, Apple.
that is on Apple. Then we've
Yeah.
got October 9th is SitCon, which is going to be amazeballs. October 10th is the Dune movie drop.
I'm not going to say I'm pissed off about that, but yeah, I know I'm not going to be around that weekend.
Wife and kids?
Wife and kids.
Your pull-out game is weak, son.
I know. But the wife got in there and was like, Ben, I need you here. Yeah, I've got these things, so I need you here that weekend. And I was like, shit. Well, because I'd looked into the dates, I was like, okay, I'm probably going to be home that weekend. And then the wife goes off and says, this has come up, and I'm like, damn it.
Hey, look, you'll have the stuff online, and you can check
It'll be
in.
on VODs. I know.
And you can check in with Black Sky Legion to get all of the Friday show to get all of your fix.
Woo! And we'll also be getting they're doing there's a free fly weekend, I believe, coming up soon. Either this weekend or next.
We just had one.
And there's another one that's coming up right soon as well.
Beautiful.
And I heard there's also there's some kind of like doing your pick your favorite ship basically, and it'll go up on sale.
No. That's a thing that
Is
they're
that
already.
finished now?
No, that's the thing they're already in the middle of, and that's that's the best in show, and it's the top 4 ships. It's not one ship. It's the top 4 ships and the ones that make it to the top 4. Now it will go to a final one that is the overall winner, but all of the top 4 ships will have a sale, and all of them will get their best in show paint jobs as well. So not just one.
I mean, I have to admit though, because before patch 3.15, is it we're on now?
We're on
before the current patch.
We're on 3.14. 3.15 will drop in October.
Before the current patch, I was all about the Sentinel. I loved my Sentinel so hard.
It took a little bit of a...
But the most recent patch, until we get capacitors coming in the game...
We have capacitors.
No, until we get customizable capacitors.
Oh, you're talking about modular...
Yeah, until I actually get the ability to increase my weapon capacity so that my the AVRS or whatever the hell the disruptor cannons on the Sentinel can, until I can shoot more than 24 bullets before needing a recharge.
So that's not...
That's why I've flicked over to larger ships, because they've got larger capacitors.
So to be clear, that sort of is, but sort of isn't tied to... The capacitor play limits a lot of different things, but they just flat out changed kinetic weaponry to be different, and it does require reloads and whatnot. And they changed the whole sort of. Now it will be tweaked again here and there, and
it will be. It's an alpha, as we covered earlier, but
yeah.
I would have gone for Sentinel so easily. I loved my Sentinel.
Okay.
But my Sentinel with only 24 bullets, without even on full pips to weapons, I'm like, Daka Daka Daka, please stand by. Your call is important to us. Daka Daka Daka. Shit, his shields are regenerated. Daka Daka. Shit, his shields are regenerated again. I was like, oh, come on.
Yeah, there's definitely been some shifts that got tweaked this way or that way. I highly recommend, for solo play, I highly, highly recommend you have some fun with the Gladius right now. It is so good. And for group play, I know it's going to sound like I'm joking, but I swear to God I'm not. That Connie, no, Hammerhead is like, that's just a no-brainer. That's just a, hey, do you have 7 people? Yeah. Do you want to whip your dick out and just own everybody? Yeah. Hammerhead. But
I've been enjoying the Connie for solo play, to be honest. Those four size 4 lasers are chewing things up.
And you have a just stupid overpowered shield.
You got good shields.
Not good.
And then it's only
great.
Okay, great shields. Okay, she's not as maneuverable as I like to fly. And okay, I'm having to use gimbaled weapons. But I'm actually killing shit in a Connie. But I far prefer the small fighter gameplay. But I just find that with ballistics, I'm having to recharge. I'm having to return to base every fight to basically to do things. So I can't just stay out and shooting people. And with my current repeaters, and I'm wanting to see about getting a laser cannon build going. But you can't get the laser cannon. You can't get the laser cannons for the Sentinel unless you go and buy the Harbinger, I think it is. So you got to go off and buy like a 5 million credit ship just to get 4 guns.
Yeah,
and it's like, dude, you've got every other thing. You've got every other thing going apart from the laser cannons. Why don't you have the laser cannons available to buy too, man?
Right on.
But
Ben,
we don't, so that's that. Yeah.
We've been going for 2.5 hours. I think it's about time that we wrap it up for this week. You got anything you want to add before we do?
Where is all the rum gone?
Yeah, right. I know that feeling, but for me, it's 6:20. It's that whiskey. It's gone. All right, brother. Well,
no, my whiskey is being nursed and is sitting safely in its box.
So tune in next week when Ben will be there, because he's already said that he's going to be around. We'll both be acting like we're paying attention to the conversation while we're both furiously playing fucking New World. And Suv will be here. Suv has said that he will be here next week, and he is super excited for New World as well. All right. Say goodnight to the beautiful people, Ben.
Good night to the beautiful people, Ben.
Right on. Let's get this music going.
Down, good Lord. Baby got me hoping all over town. Strictly business, don't play around. Cover much ground, got game by the pound. Getting paid is a forte, each and every day. True play away. I can't get her out of my mind. I think about the girl all the time. East side to the west side, busting fat rhymes, and it's no surprise. She got tricks up a stash, stacking up the cash, fast when it comes to the dash. By no means average, long as she's got to have that. Baby, you're a perfect said, I wanna get in. Can I get down so I get in? I like the way you work it. No diggity. Got to bag it up. I like the way you work it. No diggity. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I like the way you work it. No diggity. I got to bag it up. I like the way you work it. No diggity. She's got class and style. She's managed by the mile. My baby never act wild. Very low key on the profile. Catching feelings is a no. Let me tell you how it goes. Here's the word, spins the verb. Love as it comes, so freak what you heard. Rolling with the fatness. You don't even know what the half is. You know you got to pay to play just for show to bang bang and look your way. I like the way you work it. Drop tight all day, every day. Blowing my mind, ooh baby, in time. Maybe I can get you with my ride. I like the way you work it. No diggity. I got to bag it up. I like the way you work it.